gentlemen, we have two Jimmy Olsens here who need no introduction whatsoever. So let's give them a big round of applause.
Good old Jimmy. Jimmy is a good guy. Jimmy is a good guy.
We have our own Supergirl over here, so if you guys have questions, please raise your hand, and Supergirl will come over and ask. I'm going to start off with the first question. Both of you guys have done so much throughout your careers. Can you talk about what's your favorite memory or the best part of your careers? Let's start with you, Mark, first.
I'll tell you, it's all a good memory. You know, to ask somebody for one good memory, maybe outside the business. But when it comes to the business, just to be lucky enough to work in this business, to be an actor, and you know, the process to even get on celluloid is a bit of a grind. I will say, you know, the Superman experience, so we can just keep it in Metropolis. I went into the office and met Dick Donner, Tom Mankiewicz, and Lynn Stallmaster. And we just talked about boats for the whole time. And when on my way out of the office, after about 20 minutes, he just asked me if I knew who Jimmy Olsen was, and I said, golly, Mr. Kent. And I left, and for 3 months, there was no callback or anything, and I heard Marlon Brando was going to be in the movie, and I heard they found a Superman. And finally there was a call where they just said they want to see you again, and I went back in, and Donner said, I just want to remember what you look like. And I got the part, you know, and so, you know, as in life, as in the business, if you're at the right place at the right time. The subject was, I was living on a houseboat, and Donner always wanted to live on a boat, so we talked about boats for 20 minutes. And but life really is about being at the right place at the right time, and in my career and in my life, that is definitely what it's been about. And to have been chosen to play Jimmy Olsen, and I totally had so much respect for Jack Larson before, who was a great guy who we lost last year. Yeah, Jack Larson is he really was the real deal. He had some great Hollywood stories, but he set the tone, and I took it from him.
Everything he said. No, actually, he was my Jimmy Olsen, so I'm very excited. I was lucky to meet Jack Larson as well. He came to visit us. I think a little bit of what he said is true, though, is to be able to continue to do what I love and still get paid to do what I love that's the best kind of blessing or gift. I always find that when I finish a job, I'm ready to do the job. So if you were to ask me what my favorite moment is, probably the last moment of my last job, because I feel like that's probably the best I could be at that moment. But the whole journey of it is amazing. And even Lois and Clark, I was supposed to do another show at Warner Brothers, and they were developing a comedy, and the director was friends with the woman that they were developing the comedy, and he goes, can I have him come in and we're going to do the Superman show? And they cast me first, before Dean and Terry. And it was like me and Paul Rudd and Scott Wolf. So they won that award for not getting Jimmy Olsen, but they don't get to be here. But no, and then the Superman, this is my first time to Metropolis, and to see so many people, it's really amazing. So thank you for having me.
Let's open it up to the audience.
Yeah, I'm hoping that all the Jimmy Olsens can maybe get a picture by the statue later today or something where we can all get up there. And that'd probably be a pretty good moment.
Meaning Mehcad.
Yeah, Mehcad. Is that only, so there's only one other Jimmy here?
I think
besides us?
I think so.
So this is the triple threat.
3 Jimmys. It's a Jimmy barbecue place, but it's amazing.
You'll love the ribs.
I did a basketball movie with Mehcad, so I think it's funny that now he's playing Jimmy Olsen. We did a movie together, so I'm trying to find him. I think he's somewhere.
What was the movie?
It was called Just Right. It was with America's own Queen Latifah. Yeah. But no, he was fun. I haven't seen him. It's so funny.
He's looking good.
Okay. My question is for Marc McClure.
Yep. Where are you? Where are you?
Right here.
Stand up, please.
Oh, here.
I am standing. This is not Superman related, but Back to the Future. You were in 1 and 3. Were you upset that you weren't in Superman 2?
In Back to the Future
Back
2.
to the Future 2, sorry.
Well, it ended up, I was in it, but it got cut. Wendy Jo Sperber, who I love, who we lost. We had done Bob Zemeckis' first 2 films together. Then that was another job. I mean, I just kind of had to show up for that. And Wendy was pregnant at the time with her second child during Back to the Future 2, and she couldn't shoot. So when they were screening Back to the Future 2, the questionnaires were coming back of what happened to the sister. Where's the sister? And the easiest fix was get the brother out. So you didn't have to worry about the family, just kind of get the family out. And that's what happened. And I think the scene is in the making of or in the digital.
Did you guys do 2 and 3 at the same time? Didn't you?
No, that was in Superman. Superman, we filmed 1 and 2 together. Back to the Future was each separately. And Bob Zemeckis, who I've done I Want to Hold Your Hand with and Used Cars, he's one of the best. In my lifetime, that's another thing. Right?
That's your blessing.
Well, it's like, I work with Ron Howard with Apollo 13. These are directors that could tell stories on celluloid. And it's not an easy thing to do. There'd be a lot of great films out there if everybody could do it. But to really tell a story and to sit in a movie theater and get involved with characters like Jimmy, like Lois, and what we're lucky, these iconic figures. It's so important to make them translatable in a movie theater and for people to identify with them. And it was, as far as the filmmakers are concerned, Ron Howard, he does those kind of films where you're watching the film and you relate to the people. Superman with Dick Donner, you related to the people. And that's the trick, and I've been lucky to be in the same room with a lot of great directors in my lifetime. And I'm going to be turning 60 this year, or next year. And I'm grateful every day, and I tell you, I do love coming to these things, because as far as you guys that make this world what it is, you guys are as honest as anybody I've ever met, and I appreciate that. Thank you for that. I really enjoy coming to these things.
We are also live streaming from Facebook. We have a Facebook question from Natalie Levine. What was Michael's favorite part about being on Lois and Clark?
I loved Lane Smith, who passed away. He was sort of like a mentor to me, and he became a good friend and gave me a lot of advice. And I love John. I made good friends. Those guys were great because they both took care of me in a way when I was younger. And I had parents. They didn't take care of me. John Shea's like the mayor. Like when we filmed at Warner Brothers, and it was the time they were doing like Lethal Weapon or Demolition Man, and John's like, well, let's go check everything out. He walks around, he's like the mayor. And every stage door says, no one's allowed on the stage unless you have, you have to be part of this movie. And John just walks on, he goes, if you act like you belong here, they don't. And so, to this day, I now walk on although it gets more strict with all the Star Wars and everything, they don't let you go as much. But those guys were great, but Lane in particular was a good pal. And I made a little movie that probably nobody saw in Boston, and both John and Lane came and did they both played little parts in it. But it was fun, and also Dean was not really an actor, he was a football player, and she was an actress and had done a lot of work. So she was working really hard, and he was just nice, he couldn't do anything wrong but be nice. And it was before there were Starbucks and stuff, or whatever, these coffees everyone gets, and so she would try to be nice to the crew, or he would try to be nice to the crew and order like a coffee cart for 80 people, and then an hour later, milkshakes would turn up from a deli, so I got in the middle of their competition of niceness. I don't know.
It's a tough competition.
Then I think in the second season they all got bikes, but I wasn't part of that. So I have a car. It's all right. It's fine.
First for Michael, we've had Dean Kane's been here, Lane Smith, John Shea was here last year. It's great that we're finally getting to see all the great players from Lois and Clark that show up, and we want to thank you for being here as well.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. McClure, your appearance on Smallville was a treat for all of us, just to be able to see you again, and it was an additional stamp of approval from the Donner collection to have you on there, and you finally got to be a Kryptonian. What was the process? Did you actively seek that role? Did they come to you? Did just an agent throw you a script? What was the process that brought you to Smallville? And if there's any special memory from that time you can tell us.
I do believe Margie was the first. Was Margie the first to appear on the show? And then Chris? Yeah. I think it was kind of in that process. No, I mean, they just, I'd always heard it was in the works, it's going to happen, and when it finally happened, it was interesting, because usually when they kind of do little cute things, they kind of, just kind of have you walking through the office and throw a little line out there, but it was nice that they actually had a part for me to play this Dax tour, and I forget the name of the bad guy that got me with the needle. Who was he? The Brainiac. Brainiac. And that was pretty cool. I know I loaned the star of Smallville. I had the DVD collection with me, and I was just kind of watching it on the flight there, and I gave him Superman 2, the Donner cut, to watch, because he had not seen it. Yeah, it was a great film, and I never saw that tape again. So I have a Superman can box set missing and he won't give it back.
He's at the Smallville convention this weekend.
I want to get that. And his secretary, when I called, he had a secretary there in Vancouver. And I was like, hey, is it possible you can just let him know if he can get it back? Oh no, he doesn't give things back. So if you ever loan anything to him.
Who's this, Tom Welling?
He says, oh no, he doesn't give things back. I said, well, it's a disc, and it kind of belongs with my set. And I was like, wow, this is Twilight Zone. So anyway, that's one thing that I took out of Smallville.
So you've played a different character in the Superman world after playing such an important, doing all these movies. Oh, that's cool. Do a lot of people do this crossover?
Yeah. Christopher Reeve came in and played Dr. Swan. He's the one who discovered where Clark came from. He gave him all the information about Krypton, and Chris Reeve was just wonderful in that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Margot Kidder came in and played his secretary after he had passed, so that continued on. Terry Garr came on, Terry Hatcher came on and played Lois Lane's mother. So there were all these different validations. Mr. McClure came in. So all these different people came in, and it was like a little. And they were like Mark said, it wasn't just a cutesy thing, a walkthrough. They had a distinct role, and it was, again, it looked like the stamp of approval from the previous incarnation, moving on to the next generation.
Yeah, so it's good. There's a lot of different roles. I know they got Justice League that they're starting to do now, and maybe not that I'm going to have a little something in that. It's all about the contract, my friends. It's all about that contract. So we'll see what happens.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Justice League, that's everybody. So we're going to have a movie, and it was almost this last one that I saw. There was a lot of, there was Wonder Woman, Aquaman. Aquaman was in that. The Flash was in this last movie.
They had like a brief appearance.
Right. So it's going to be incredible to get everybody on the same screen together, and who knows what that's going to do. That's just going to be...
And 27 Star Wars.
Yeah. So here we go. It's not slowing down for sure.
think one actor, Marc McClure, probably forgot on Smallville, which starting with season 2, Terrence Stamp, you know, who played the villainous Zod. Zod, took over the role of Jor-El to see Marlon Brando's character on Smallville.
That's cool.
If I remember it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as Clark Kent's father. Do you have anything to say on that when you heard he was taking over the role before you got the part? You know, in the later seasons. Mark.
I really don't have a lot of information on it. I don't know. I haven't heard that, and I don't.
Yeah, because I understand that was the first character they cast in season 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to reference that.
Does everybody like the new Henry Cavill Superman? He's not here. I was just throwing a survey. But okay, good. Right.
Has Henry been here? No. Yeah. He'll make it here. He's a good actor. Is everybody with the evolution of the Superman outfit? You know, I mean, as much as I like Henry, I mean, you know, I'm not going to go any further than Christopher Reeve in this lifetime. And and it's interesting how I guess as we get older in our lifetime, before it's all said and done, we'll maybe see another edition of the outfit. But the evolution of it is always kind of difficult to see for me. It's like, you know, Joshua, was it Justin? Was the Superman here? Joshua? Yeah, the Superman here in Smallville? Or here? Josh. Yeah. I mean, he looks great. And just, I mean, you know, I see that outfit, and that just represents everything to me. And, you know, the new one's good, but it seems to be just you know, for me, it looks like another character. It looks more like Aquaman than Superman. Or Lizard Man or something. I'll go with Lizard Man. Is there a Lizard Man? Is that available? Mike?
Time will tell.
I think Lizard Man is still possibly available.
It's got an Under Armour feel to it.
You can't rub them the wrong way.
Which is more lucrative or sought after by both of you or any actor? Television or film? Which ends up being a better deal for you guys?
A better deal financially?
Financially, career-wise, however you want to go.
I would wish I could make more movies because I think you could tell doing the same role for so many years can start to get repetitive potentially. And I think you can put more into a character by doing a feature film. Right now, the state of the movie business, from my experience, is it's almost like when an actor would go to a play. You do it because you love the material, but there's not really any money. I just made a $50 million Matthew McConaughey movie where, other than Matthew McConaughey, you don't get... you get paid more than maybe a Gardner. So, I mean, you don't get they used to pay people a lot of money in movies to be a third or a fourth or a fifth lead in the movie, and that's gone away. And at the same time, all the movies that I loved, aside from all these kind of superhero stories that were made in the 90s, 80s, those movies have gone away, and now they've come up. All that good storytelling is on television. So I think both financially and creatively, there's probably better opportunities in television at the moment. Unless you get lucky, because like you said, they're making 25 Captain Americas in every one of these stories. If you can get into one of those and you can pop, I mean, if Robert Downey Jr. was sitting here, he would say it's fine because he's the highest paid actor on the planet. But It's not always about the money.
No, it seems like if you're lucky enough, and I really mean that, lucky enough to be in a really good film, something that, I mean, Back to the Future just celebrated 30 years. I mean, the idea, if, let's just say you just do 10 films in your career, if one of them is Back to the Future, 1, 2, and 3, and if one of them is Superman 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of them is Apollo 13, I mean, that's hard to do because it's just, there's not that many films that could stretch out over our lifetime, you know? There's films that we see and you go on, but you know, the trick is doing good projects, and when you read a script, when you meet the director, when you go through the process, you don't know. You don't know. You got to go to the premiere, and when you sit in the premiere, and yeah, I mean, I remember Back to the Future when we saw that for the first time with cast and crew. I'm mind-blowing. I mean, I don't know, Superman was a pretty good one, but Back to the Future was, everybody saw that movie and realized we just, you know, everybody was involved in something special. And that doesn't happen all the time. I mean, it just doesn't happen all the time. The odds are against it. So I think the idea is you want to do good projects. In answer to your question, you want to do something that means something. Like when it's all said and done, you can be proud. I can be proud of it. You know, because
he's also fortunate to be. I'm a jobbing actor too. At a certain point, you have to feed your family and take. And I do a lot of stuff that I don't love. But I love to do my job. But
yeah.
I think what the greatest point you just made, sorry to interrupt you, is if you can find the best material, whether that's in television or movie, the material that you can be most proud of, that you can really get behind, that could actually sustain a long time, like Superman or Back to the Future. Yeah. That's probably the best goal that I would have. But it's. You also have, I can't be precious, if I'm precious, you know.
And you don't know. I mean, you don't know if it's going to be a hit or a miss. There's no rhyme or reason for any of it. Timing, I guess, is pretty huge.
Luck and timing and...
Yeah. But we've been lucky.
I can tell you this, when Superman the movie came out, I was 13 years old. My father took me. I sat through that theater twice. Because it made that impression. Now, jump ahead almost 8 years later to 1985 when Back to the Future came out. I did the same thing again. Sat through that movie twice. And it was amazing.
He owes you 2 ticket prices.
That's where all my residuals coming from. But hey, when I was a little kid, I sat through It's a Mad World twice. Love that film. And I just saw it again down in the desert, and what a great film. What a great film. But I was sent away to military school when I was a little kid, and I think that's where I never took acting lessons or anything, but I learned to take care of myself at a very young age, and I learned to be a good judge of character at a very young age, and I think that's where I picked up my acting chops. So, like I say, I wasn't ruined by any kind of formal acting training, which is good.
I don't have a very deep question. I was just wondering how glad you guys were that you didn't have to wear like a red wig and have freckles all over. Basic Jimmy Olsen.
I do that normally, so.
Perfect. Did they try to put you guys in like hair, makeup that made you look a little more like the comics, or were they just like, no, don't worry about that?
No, they did freckles. They put freckles on me early on, and I had freckles already. But I remember them dabbing me with the little freckles. But makeup's pretty easy on Jimmy. Makeup's pretty easy.
They wanted me to look as much like Dean and Terry so that they could fire me after the first year. I'm joking, no. And the woman that created the show, Deborah Joy Levine, specifically wanted to make him, which I don't even know if we pulled off necessarily, but she wanted to make him more of a street kid or like a pink pop. She wanted to try to do something different, like Fonzie.
I have a question for Mark. How did you like being in the Supergirl movie?
Supergirl movie was pretty good. The director, Jimmy Schwartz, had just come off making, I believe, Jaws 2? Jaws 2 or Jaws 3, and he was saying it was the greatest sequel of all time. So right away, you're kind of questioning everything. He was pretty good. Faye Dunaway, yeah, she's a great actress, but she didn't want anybody to look at her, and everybody had to be very quiet when she was on the set. That kind of zapped a little bit of the joy. Brenda Vaccaro was great. Helen Slater, fabulous. Has she been here? Has Helen been here? Yeah. She really was. She was good. And Hart Bachner was a great guy to hang out with. I had fun. I always have fun everywhere I go. And Faye Dunaway is great. And I'm not quite sure how many sets she did that to, but I think coming onto the Supergirl set demanded that everybody kind of be quiet and not to look at her. I mean, I can understand if there's a certain role you got to kind of carry yourself with. And she was pretty evil in it. Maybe she had to really concentrate for that. But I remember a pretty good experience with Supergirl, and Helen Slater was very good at her part. And my only problem with that film was how they did the product placement. And Jimmy Schwartz, and how he did make sure a product was placed in the film. If you ever watch it, you'll notice the A&W root beers. And I remember there was a thing where those two guys that were drunk were giving Supergirl a hard time, and the one guy had that brand new A&W t-shirt on. And I remember they weren't very happy about how they got placed into the film.
My question is for Michael.
Hi!
So I feel like the first season of Lois and Clark has a really dynamic story for Jimmy. We were really striving, and I feel like after that it became a lot more static. He just sort of had an exposition role, and that was sort of what he filled in the show going forward. Was that hard for you to watch? Did you keep watching the show after you were off it? Or because I think your Jimmy had some of the most interesting stuff going on for the time, and then it sort of went away.
Thank you. I think maybe they got rid of Deborah Joy Levine after the first season. I think she was a very good writer, and maybe you could attribute it to that. I think, I was 21 and I got fired for the first time in my life. So it's hard. I had to deal with it for the first, been fired many times. No, I'm joking. But you have to learn a little bit. So I think I don't even know that I watched. I think I was like, whatever. I think I was mad, and then I think I jumped into some. I was very fortunate to just jump onto other jobs. But I always thought part of my way of making myself feel better about getting the boot was that I'm positive. No, what did it do? 3 or 4 more seasons? And I said it's always going to be called Lois and Clark. I would always be this supporting character, and I didn't imagine there would be much more growth, unbeknownst to the fact that there wasn't. So I guess I was right. Whereas I had an opportunity to go to a bunch of other jobs, which also led to more jobs, which I think ended up taking my career in a whole other way. Whereas if I stayed there, maybe that would have just been that. But I think it was probably just because I wasn't in it that it got.
And everybody, let's hear it for the Russian Superman who just came in the room back there. He looks good. That would have been a good fight. I love that. We're lucky he made it to Kansas and he didn't crash on the other side.
That's kind of like a Red Dawn, Drago meets...
Oh, I would say Rocky, somewhere in the Rocky. Yeah, now that could work.
Red Sun was a comic series.
Was it?
Yep.
Come on, Mark, but everyone knows that.
He took the emblem. Really? I liked it. Did they ever combat?
It's a different universe. It ended up
It's never been a problem for Superman. Turn back time. What have you got to do? Black holes.
My question is for both of you. So I got to.
Hi, Sam.
Hi. I got to talk to you guys just a little bit during the autograph, but what is some advice that you can give people, especially now in today's industry, about trying to get their foundation going, or like trying to make their big break? What is some advice that you would give to those people?
I would just say write. Write your own stuff, create your own stuff. Stand up. If you can do stand, get in front of people. Just get in front of people. But my recommendation, you write your own stuff. And I heard Spielberg talking at one of the conventions. You know, you got to listen to yourself. That's all you got. And if you question yourself, you're drifting away. Just whatever you're feeling, whatever you need to channel it and trust it. That's going to make it who you are. Who you are is that's what you got to make a difference.
It's storytelling. It's telling your own story. Because even now, after however many years, 28 years, I still have to go sing for my supper, but I also produce and make my own stuff because I can't control waiting for an agent to try to convince somebody, blah, blah, blah. But the way the cameras are now, the way even like a Canon 5D is now, and you can film, you can say you're a student, steal footage. I made a whole movie while I was here, but you can create your own content because there's no one, there's no rules, and nobody knows anything. Like people that think there's one way, there's no one way.
Yeah, I did 8mm movies when I got out of school, and that was hard. I mean, you had to film it, and then you had to take it in and get it developed.
And then cut it.
With everything we got now, I mean, you guys could do your own stuff. If you've got an idea, do it. Don't let anybody tell you not to do it. Do it. You guys know how this world works. You know what makes this universe fun for you, man. Just do it.
That's right.
You can all do it. You can all do it for sure. And everybody, it seems like 15 minutes is everywhere. 15 minutes of fame is all over the place. I love that Chewbacca lady. She was, I mean, that's the kind of stuff, we need that. We need laughter, we need joy. We don't need to go to dark places, and we need to hear people laughing and enjoying life. That's what it's about.
A little bit about the changes in what we've seen from action films from '78 to where they are now, with CGI now being what it was back then. If you talk about the industry changes.
Well, it's all gotten pretty good, but I think it's taken over the story. I think that the problem, he was asking about the effects, and they're all pretty good, but if you haven't got character, we're just kind of watching a documentary about special effects. You know, it's important for me to go into a movie theater and connect like you guys. And we're all different. You know, we all connect to different things just because of either what we've experienced in this lifetime or what we've experienced in others. But without character, I don't care if a building's falling down. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna mean the same to me if I don't have somebody, a person, to care about while that building's falling down. So they're all getting good. I mean, and when it goes back to writing, write whatever you want because they can do it. You know, whatever your imagination can come up with, write it down because they can do it. That's for sure.
That's a good one.
Matthew Risotto, he wants to know, Mark, what did you learn from Christopher Reeve's example?
I gotta say, man, he's a teacher. You know, in this lifetime, Chris, you know, to go from here to there in a lifetime is pretty incredible. And he did it. He got up to the podium. Michael J. got up to the podium. And I think, like when you're dealt with something, and you go outside and you talk about it, that's good. Christopher Reeve, he was the best.
Funny or interesting Christopher Reeve stories to tell from when you filmed the movies?
He was a pretty funny guy off the set. on the set, he was business, and he had we were on the wires one time when we were first starting it up, and I was rambling on, and he asked me if I could just at least, get in character, be like Jimmy. And it was like, and it was a gift, because right at that moment, I realized what he needed, to get through what he needed to get through. So on the set, I learned to work as Jimmy when I was working with Chris, when we were doing rehearsals or whatever we were doing. So it was a gift on those wires when he asked me to, be in character to help him. And I'll always remember that one. That was cool. And there's a lot of good stuff. Jackie Cooper, he was a great chief. Margie was a cowboy girl. She was great. Dick Donner, as you all may know, was the painter. He's the reason why we love Chris so much. And as far as funny stuff, there was a lot of it. It was like when we were filming the first two movies, I was there for a year.
Where was it? England?
In England. Yeah, we were over there at Pinewood Studios in Shepperton. And it was a lot of good times. Dick Donner was the magic of everything. And it would have been when we first signed, we signed for 7 films. And he was signed to do them, and he wanted to do them. And the story is, if Superman 1, Superman the movie, was a failure, the Salkinds would have kept him on to finish number 2. Number 2 was almost finished. But when it was a success, they fired him for personal reasons. I know Elia's been here, and I don't know if Elia talks out loud about it, but I know in his heart, and he knows, and he has said it out loud, that he wishes he could have done it different. He said the old man, Alexander, gave him, was going to give him a hard time to do it, whatever. But he wishes he could have done it different back in the late 70s. Because Dick Donner belonged, in that project. He loved Superman.
I was just wondering if you had a chance to go into the museum, if you're going to.
Well, I'm going to get over to the museum. Is Jim? Jim's here? He's running around. Yeah, I remember last time I was here, I gave him all the Jimmy Olsen. There's a coat in there and a bow tie, I think, and a possible jacket. So I got to go in there and visit my old wardrobe. That's good, but this is where it belongs, for sure. It belongs in Metropolis. I got no problem with that. Has Chris got some stuff in there? Yeah. It's got to be everything. That's cool. That's cool.
If I can interrupt for just one moment, we have time for maybe 2 to 3 more questions.
You touched on the Donner Lester thing briefly when Margot Kidder was here, and she's openly vocal, and at that time was so openly vocal about her displeasure over it that she ended up with only 10 minutes of screen time in Superman 3.
Right.
What was the general feeling among the rest of the cast? Obviously yourself, but I don't know if anybody else spoke as openly and as publicly as she did. But what was, you obviously greatly admire Mr. Donner.
Yeah.
So what was the general feeling when he was out and Lester was brought in?
It was bad. It was bad. We went to Washington for the premiere, and I know the film went to the final hour, even to be complete by then. And after the premiere, everybody goes back to London to finish, and that's when we learned Donner was gone. Chris would have been the guy, and he was still pretty young in the biz, but he would have been the guy to stand up. And Richard Lester was there for monetary reasons, to collect on old Elia Salkind, the Salkind money that they owed Richard Lester. So the only reason he was there is to do something to collect the money that he was owed. And Dick Donner, you go into a movie set, Dick Donner, you work, you find a scene, you make it honest, and then you shoot it. Richard Lester, you get on the set, He's got an X over here, he's got an X there, and an X here. He's got 3 cameras. He tells you to stand there, say your line, then walk over there and say your line. So there's a difference there. There's a difference there. There's a difference to one somebody, trying to find something and somebody that just wants to get out of there. Richard Lester, wanted to get out of there. And that wasn't a good thing. We had to work. I mean, we signed a contract, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And like you guys don't know how much people love Don. He was beyond the Call of Duty. So it wasn't good. It wasn't good, and then he came back and he did number 3. And he was a nice guy. Lester's a great guy. But he didn't belong there. He didn't really belong with that project. And it all kind of going where it went from there on.
Okay, we have time for just one more question.
All right, that's a really good one. Is it good? Are you sure? Yeah. Awesome.
Many of the actors in the Superman franchise got their acting training from different places. Christopher Reeve went to Juilliard. Richard Pryor got his training by going to stand-up, comedies. Some went to the study with Meisner at the Playhouse, Neighborhood Playhouse. Was there a particular teacher or director or artist that you worked with that you said, hey, that's the person that gave me the tools to do my craft? I learned a lot from this person.
Stella Adler for me before she died. Yeah.
Ooh,
that's the top. Wow.
Woo!
Wow. She was mean and crazy, but great, and I'm very grateful. It was when she was working in LA. Good. But she was older and yelled and screamed and was kind of mean, which is harder when you're younger. But I had Lane Smith to get yelled at all the time, so I was fine. But no, she's great.
And I learned along the way. I was just pretty much being me. And I grabbed a little character, I guess, out of the material. But my thing is, I make sure I was listening. And to this day, I'm actually going back. I've gone back to work. There's a TV series, a pilot called Powerless that just got picked up by NBC, and I got a really small part in that because I retired when I was 55, and I kind of had to go back to work for to get my medical stuff. Otherwise I gotta do whatever I gotta do. But anyway, so I went back to work, did this pilot. It got picked up by NBC. And I may have a recurring role in that, which will be good. So I'll pay for health care, which is nice. And the question was, with the acting stuff, I think it's important. Anybody in here that want to be an actor, just make sure you're listening to the other guy. So you have something honest to react to. That's the best advice that I think I can throw out there.
I want to thank both of you, Mark and Michael, for coming here, spending time with us, giving us your insights on everything. Thank you very much.
I can't wait to see all your films.
of Metropolis.
You guys hear me? On keyboard, we have Mehcad Brooks.
Yeah, we're going to introduce you to the band. A lot of you women will remember him from Desperate Housewives. And will remember him in probably Totally Different Dreams from True Blood. Some of the men will remember him from Necessary Roughness. What? I watched that by myself. Wasn't Scott Bakula in that movie? It wasn't a movie. That was Unnecessary Roughness. You're thinking of something else altogether. But he is our newest James Olsen from Supergirl, Mehcad Brooks.
Thank you guys. Love you.
And the best, Jimmy Olsen.
Don't say that too loud. I think Marc McClure is here somewhere.
We're still waiting on the red hair and the bow tie, but you know,
I cut the hair. It's too hot for bow tie.
That's it.
If I do this in the spring next time, I'll do the bow tie.
Also, we also have a lot of people will remember him as Carlisle from the Twilight Zone. And as the kind and gentle and thoughtful doctor on Nurse Jackie. So please make welcome Mr. Peter Facinelli. Did I get a vote? And I'm going to ask the first one. Since Supergirl has now officially moved from CBS to the CW, a lot of people immediately thought, well, they're going to change everything. I don't know how many spoilers you are allowed to give, or even if, because you're on hiatus, if you've even gotten too deep into the season. Is there any major changes that you are allowed to tell us that moving from the first season to the second?
I think Supergirl, they're going to cut the CGI and you're going to actually see the strings now.
Yeah. So she's just going to jump off of buildings and fall. So it's going to be more exciting, actually.
She doesn't fly anymore.
She just falls, just like a rock.
She falls with grace and style.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, no. We're actually going to be gaining some things. We'll be gaining some crossover potentials with the Flash, with Tomorrow, with the Arrow universe. We're going to gain more than we lose, actually.
And Superman.
And Superman's going to show up. Yeah. He's going to come pay us a visit up in Vancouver.
And since it's such an intimate group, it's just between us, you can tell us who's going to play Superman, right?
We already know.
Yeah, it's actor named Mehcad Brooks.
Christopher Walken.
I am Superman.
That would be Christopher.
Superman.
Yeah, today.
Today I'm going to save the world.
Girl.
And you can call me Christopher Flying now.
In my town.
It's Lex Luthor. Yeah, it's okay.
So going from Carlisle.
Christopher Walken out there. I don't like Maxwell Lord at all.
What's the actor's name?
He bugs me.
I think he's going to be Superman.
This one's from Mehcad.
Yeah.
In the episode where you were actually the hero, Kara lost all of her powers.
Right, human for a day.
Okay. You were up on that elevator. Was that you or was that a stunt double?
Oh, that was me, buddy.
You must have been sweating.
What's that?
You must have been sweating.
I was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was plenty of fluids coming out of my body. It was bad. So I thought
it was all green screen. He's about a foot up.
No, that's not true. Not true. He wasn't even there that day.
And he was still sweating.
He was not there that day.
It was a foot. One foot up the ground.
It was a 45-foot drop, and it's a true story. 45-foot drop, and I was like, yeah, I do this. Yeah. I did it twice. I was like, take me down. Take me down. I have a great stunt double. He's amazing. He did it like 11 times. I did it twice. So.
Can we tell the story now? Has it been enough time to tell that story or not? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So real quick, we don't have too much time.
This isn't a question, but I gotta tell you, it's funny now.
It's why we're such good friends now.
Now, yeah. Time has passed and he's forgiven me, but.
Do you guys remember the scene where I have him tied up in the chair? And so I'm swinging this wrench around. This wrench is like,
wrench! It was real!
Huge wrench. And so on the day, they were supposed to use a crowbar, but then they thought, no, a wrench would work better. So they didn't have usually they use like a fake wrench. But because they swapped it out for something else, they had a real wrench.
Heavy.
And we were shooting this scene for a couple of hours, and I guess my arm was getting a little tired. And poor Mehcad's sitting in the chair, and I'm swinging it around, threatening him. And I go to switch it from one hand to the other, and it slides out of my hand, and it boomerangs around and catches him in the knee.
Right.
And Mehcad goes down. He didn't cry, but he went down.
Down goes Olsen. It was handcuffed. I was like, really? This is supposed to be make-believe.
And so they actually had to shut production down. He went to the hospital. I felt horrible. I was calling him, texting him. He was like, "It's okay." And he was out for 2 days, right?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, I was limping for about 11 months, and
he walks with a limp now, but it's a character thing. Now when you see him limping, you know why.
It's cool. It's cool.
But it was all good because it was his birthday the next week. So what did I get you for your birthday?
For my birthday, he came by my trailer and gave me a gang of a variety pack of wrenches.
A set of wrenches. And I said, if you ever need a day off, call me.
So, if you want your kneecaps broken, somebody owes you some money, you see Facinelli over here. All right, we got Supergirl's over here with another question.
What was it like whenever you were on the set on Twilight?
Well, it's mostly...
It was a lot of fun. Oh, him.
I mean, we shot in all different locations. First movie we shot in Portland, Oregon. Second movie we shot in Vancouver. Third movie was Vancouver, and fourth movie was in Louisiana. So the house that you see in those movies was like a traveling house. They kept rebuilding it in different places. The first house was actually the real house, and then they used it. They kept building this house in different locations. But as far as filming, it's like every other set. So usually the actors get together, and then I say something, they say something, I say something, they say something, then they call cut, and that's the scene. But I mean, as far as the other actors, because we did 5 movies together, it became like a family, and I love them to death. And then, like family, when they leave the house, you never see them again. But they still take my texts, and they'll always be family to me.
Speaking of Twilight, can you tell us the process that brought you to that? Did you seek the role, or did they come to you?
All right, you want the long story or the short story?
Right. We're here all weekend.
Okay. I'll tell you the long story. So they sent me they called me, they said, hey, do you want to be in a vampire movie? And I said no. Because I was thinking like Bela Lugosi and some blood and gore and guts. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I didn't really, that's not what I wanted to do. So they said, no, it's based on these books, and they sent me the book, and I thought, wow, it's a beautiful love story with a vampire backdrop, and the romantic in me was like, I'd like to do this. So I went in and I read for it with Catherine Hardwicke, which was a fantastic process because Catherine actually read with me, and we read this scene where I'm hovered over Bella at the end of the first movie, and I'm like have my hand on her thigh. I'm trying to stop the blood. So Catherine was laying on the floor, and I have my hand on her thigh, crouched down on top of her. And I was like, if someone walks in the room right now, this is going to look really bad. But anyway, I guess I massaged her thigh well enough where she said, I like this guy. But it came down to me and 3 other actors, and I didn't get the role. And I kept calling my agent and said, hey, what's going on with Twilight? They said, no, they offered it to someone else because they wanted the character to look older than me. So they went with an actor that was 10 years older than me. Are you bored yet? All right, I'll speed it up. So I was really bummed, and I went on another audition, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, and there's a book that said 50 Years of Vampire Making Through Hollywood. And it was all these great vampire movies, and I thought, wow, the universe is rubbing it in that I didn't get this movie. So I took down the name of the book and I sent it to Catherine, a copy of this book, and I said, hey, sorry it didn't work out, you know, hope you make a great vampire movie, and hope you get to work on something in the future. And the other actor, I guess, fell out because he was asking for a lot of money, or maybe he was busy on another project. And Catherine, they said, who do you want to go to next? And Catherine had just gotten my book that day.
Wow.
And she said, well, how about Peter Facinelli? He gives good thigh rubs. And he sent me a book. So I always joke with Catherine that I bought my role for $29.99.
We have another question right over here.
This one's for Mehcad.
Yeah.
Were you given any advice from previous Jimmy Olsens?
No, I was not actually. But to that point, I was actually really, the entire time I was shooting the pilot, I was terrified that I was going to be fired every 5 minutes, because you're like, okay, so this character's 75 years old, he's well established, he looks nothing like me.
You look great for 75.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. We don't really look alike, you know what I mean? So I was kind of like, man, what do I do? And they're like, just be you. I go, but he's not me. I'm like, you've seen him, right? They're like, yeah, but we're gonna change him. So it just kind of was like, no matter what I think people thought of the character, we're keeping the DNA of that character. And he is still the eyes and the ears of the audience for, to be in such close proximity to a superhero. But any advice I would have gotten, I'm not sure if it would have been applicable.
Did you read for the role?
I did. And I rubbed Greg Berlanti's thigh.
So when you, did you?
No.
Did you send him a book? When you read, I'm sorry, I'm taking over the questions, because I'm curious now. When you read for it, did you go in thinking, I'm going to play him kind of nerdy and quirky, or were you just like, I'm going to go and be me?
Well, here's the thing, because like...
Did you go in there with glasses and a bow tie?
No. So I grew up as a huge Jimmy Olsen fan, and a huge Superman fan, period. So like I was very familiar with the Jimmy Olsen comics and who Jimmy Olsen was. And so I was like, when I got the audition, I go, they know I'm black, right? Wait, they know I'm black though, right? I was like, okay, cool. So I knew I couldn't play him as he'd always been, you know, portrayed. So I went in as myself. Like I went in, It's a testament to DC Comics, testament to Warner Brothers and CBS and CW.
So you went in shirtless?
No, I had a shirt on, for sure. I had a plaid flannel shirt. Like, yeah, I dressed like my little Austin, Texas self. And that's the thing, if anybody here ever wants to be something that people think you cannot be, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Yeah. All right, you got.
I'm actually a physician in training and also an entrepreneur. So I love what both of you have done in your careers, and I have a question directed at Peter. We have a healthcare group that helps train physicians in clinical medicine and entrepreneurship for the benefit of the patient in the long run. Wow. So I'm very curious to hear, for you, Peter, you played the doctor, now you played the billionaire entrepreneur. How much training exposure do you get to play this kind of role? Because we do it for real, so it's good to get kind of input from your end.
Well, I was doing Twilight and Nurse Jackie at the same time, so I just happened to get both of those roles right before. So I kind of shadowed a doctor at a hospital for a couple of days, just to kind of see what happens at a hospital and what they do. Because usually I go in as a patient, so I don't really know. So I got my medical degree in those 3 days.
It's not hard.
I can practice medicine in 3 states.
Yeah, it's not hard. I don't know what you guys go to school for that long for. It's weird.
You got a computer, you got Photoshop, you got a printer, you know, you got a diploma.
But honestly, like, once you, look, I always say play the person, not the occupation. So just because you're a fireman or a doctor or a lawyer or a musician doesn't mean that you have to be a certain type. So it's really find the character, and whatever job they are is their job. But I did want to know some medical stuff. But mostly when you're doing those kind of medical shows or it's whatever's in the script, you have to know what it is. So a lot of stuff on Nurse Jackie, I would be Googling and finding out what that stuff is, and not necessarily know how to perform the operation, but at least know in my mind what I'm talking about. And then they always had a technician on staffs to show you like what you would do, or where would you like check people, look, listen, and breathe. You know, look, listen, and what is it? Look, listen, and feel, or whatever. Those are the first 3 things you do. And so yeah, there's always somebody there to help you.
Okay, fabulous. Is there anything you can say honestly that we as physicians are missing? Big question.
No, I mean, like I said, every physician is different. You know what I mean? Even if you take Carlisle Cullen as a physician and you put him next to Dr. Cooper as a physician, they're completely different. You know what I mean? So it just, I like Mehcad. Be you. Just be you. You know?
Beautiful. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Maxwell Lord in Supergirl, whenever you were always wanting to watch Netflix, what movies did you like to watch on Netflix?
That's a great question.
Twilight, Nurse Jackie, and,
True Blood.
True Blood. Those were my first 3 go-tos. Supergirl, Superman.
Mehcad's already said that he's a lifelong fan of Superman and the comic books. Peter, did you have any introduction to these characters, to this world, to the DC universe, or even the Marvel universe before accepting the...
I grew up getting Spider-Man comics. That was my favorite. But as far as Superman, I mean, everybody knows Superman movies, and I've watched them all and been a big fan of the comics. Supergirl, I mean, I didn't know that world as much. I had to look up Maxwell Lord because I didn't know, who he was, but there's so many different variations of Maxwell Lord in the comics. This was the first time he was being portrayed live. So luckily I got to build my own, presentation of him and not have to like say, well, should I go off of somebody else's? But I mean, I like Maxwell Lord. I think, he lives in a gray area, which makes a lot of people think. Everyone's like, he's a bad guy. I'm like, he does bad things for the greater good.
Just avoid Wonder Woman at all costs.
Yeah, I heard about that. Stay away, stay away.
What is it like being chased after a nuclear-powered maniac in Supergirl?
You have to run really fast. The actor's name is Chris, forget his name, but he's the nicest guy in the world.
He didn't hit him with a wrench or anything. So.
No, he didn't hit me with a wrench. But one of the nicest guys in the world, and so it's kind of funny, like a lot of times you see these villains on TV, and they're just really cool people, right? And like they're just really nice people, so it's like we're like talking about whatever, he surfs and the whole thing, and we're just kind of talking, having a good time. In action, I'm like, whoa, it's kind of weird. And yeah, just run fast.
How do you feel, like when you watch yourself in the last Twilight movie, how do you feel knowing you get your head ripped off?
Honestly, I got a little teary-eyed. I really did. I grew to love that character, and watching my head in someone else's hands, it's, I know, it was just a dream. But when I first read the script, I was like, oh man, they killed me. And I thought, I don't get to do it, because all the other actors had this great battle sequence, and I was like, I don't get to do any of the action, because I'm dead within the first, 3, seconds. But it was sad watching, even if it wasn't me, it was sad watching that character get his head cut off. I remember taking my daughters, and one of them started crying. I don't know if it's because their dad had their head cut off or because that character had their head cut off, but it's always sad. I've died a lot of times on film, but never had my head cut off. Well, then you're elated. You're always elated to know that you live for another day.
Now, are you two currently traveling? You're here together. Are you doing other conventions together as a team, or?
We're just going on the road now. We're doing birthday parties.
Yeah.
Bar mitzvahs.
Yeah. Quinceañeras.
Quinceañeras.
Grocery store openings.
Yeah. Pawn shop closings. You got a lot of free stuff here. Don't laugh. That's cool.
How long before you go back into production for Supergirl?
July 18th.
All right. Yeah.
We have a question about midway back.
Mehcad, with your relationship with Jenna Dewan on the show, does Channing Tatum ever come around and give you a hard time?
Yes, he does. Channing's one of the nicest people you ever want to meet. Just a great guy. But yeah, he comes by set sometimes, and then I'm like...
Only during the kissing scenes does Channing show up.
I can't kiss her in front of Channing. He can ruin my career. It's horrible. No, he's great. They're both, consummate professionals. So, they both kiss other people for work. So, it's what it is.
Tough job.
Tough job. I'm sorry? No, because I would lose. The question was, have I ever had a dance-off with Channing Tatum? And the answer is no. Have you seen him dance? Okay, then no. Next question.
Almost in the back, we have a question.
I've seen a lot of Superman stuff, and I have a question. Is there going to be any villains from Superman going to be in the Supergirl season next season?
We don't know that. You know that?
You know what? Here's the thing. The funny thing about Hollywood is the actors are the last to know anything. So if you want to know something, never ask us. You're like, you didn't know you were going to die, so you're ready, right? Right. So it's like, no, I don't. I hope so. I hope so. Who do you want? What villain do you want?
Lex Luthor.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Any other hands? I see a hand straight back. Supergirl's on her way.
This is a question for both of you. With the internet and with fandom reacting in real time to your work, has that affected you, and how has that affected you, and has it changed the way you've approached the work?
Yeah, I cry myself to sleep every night. I think that I was on a press tour one time with a very successful producer named Jerry Bruckheimer. And I was reading the reviews of a movie that we did, and I said, I asked him, have you read the reviews? He said, no. I go, why? He goes, because if I read it, I said, they're great. He goes, yeah, but if I read the good ones and I believe them, I have to read the bad ones and believe them too. So he just sort of stayed away from it. And at the time I was like 25, 26 years old, and I was like, you know what, that's a great idea actually, because I can't just take a part of it and think that that's the truth. So I kind of just stay away from it.
I Google myself at least 5 times a day. What I really like to do when I'm feeling good about myself is to read the comment section. What everybody's saying about me.
A lot of people don't realize how much time and effort goes into filming just a brief moment on TV. Actually for both of you, what is the general time, many days it takes to film one episode? And for Peter, is there a distinct difference between filming for the theater and filming for TV?
Well, I'll take that first one. No, I mean, if a plumber's fixing a sink or a bathtub or a toilet, he's still doing the same work. So, I mean, as an actor, whether you're filming for television or film, you're doing the same work. It's just you guys are watching it on a different venue. But I mean,
is the time frame different between films?
The time frame is different. I mean, TV, you're shooting what, 8 to 9 to 10 days?
Well, I mean, most shows shoot 7 to 8 day episodes. We shoot 10-day episodes, and sometimes we shoot 2 or 3 at once, which is really, really hard. Out of sequence, yeah. So basically like this. Okay, so imagine going to work at 5:30 in the morning on a Monday, and you leave about 7 p.m., and all you did that day was get about 6 minutes, maybe 5 minutes of the episode done? Yeah, buddy. Yeah. That's what I said too. I'm like, whoa, really? 14 hours.
Well, in film it's even worse, because in film you're shooting like 16 hours and you're doing like 2 to 3 minutes of filming.
Right. It's crazy.
So, I mean, the film process is slower, because they're getting more camera angles and
it can be.
They take more time.
Yeah, it can be slower.
But TV is it's faster. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do like 6 to 8 pages a day, where on film you're doing like 3 to 5 pages a day.
Which I think as an actor sometimes is more fulfilling because you can take your time. You know, TV it's just like even if you didn't like what happened, they got to move on.
It's a lot of waiting too. We sit and wait a lot because they have to move lights around. So I think the hardest thing is keeping your stamina going for those 17 hours because it's like you're going in the ring and then you're working for a minute or two. And then you're sitting for like 10, 15 minutes.
Right,
and you got to get that energy to keep going. So a lot of Red Bull.
So that's when you Google yourself and read the comments just to keep yourself. All right, another question. I see you again back in the back.
Hello. So in the pilot episode, I might be wrong, but I don't think you guys say Superman once, except in that beginning sequence, like the introduction. Were you not allowed to say Superman in that episode?
No, we're allowed to. We just, I asked that question too. I thought it was kind of cool that we just alluded to him, but at the same time, it's Supergirl's show. You know what I mean? Like Superman has a lot of fans. We were trying to build Supergirl's universe, right? We're trying to. It was her thing. So we don't want to we want to borrow Superman's fans, sure. But we don't want to base it on that, so we try to build the myth of Supergirl. So
once you start having Superman in it too much, then it becomes Superman,
right?
Or Superman and Supergirl. So I think to keep it focused on her, they kind of just alluded to him, kept him in the shadows.
And it's time to be focused on a female superhero. It's like it's way past time, really.
Did they express to you that they had made a distinct decision to make Supergirl lighter than the Arrow universe? And
you know what? I think it has a lot to do with the fact that our writers and our creators grew up on the Richard Donner, like Christopher Reeve's Superman films. And those were like light romantic comedy, kind of like feel-good movies, but also with like super heroics. Like you could actually take the heroics out of those movies. And it's a workplace comedy and like, an awkward, love story and all these different things. Fish out of water type thing. So I think that they wanted to keep it, just light and fun. Because there's a lot of darkness out there. We want to bring smiles to the world. Okay, yeah.
That's good.
Walking back up to the front, I have my own question.
Uh-oh.
It's my favorite question to ask all the celebrities that come here. Are there any practical jokes that go on set?
I like to hit people with wrenches. It's really funny.
Yeah.
That's
And
hilarious.
who's the biggest practical joker on set?
You didn't play any practical jokes.
I mean, we
laugh a lot, but when you're at work, there's a lot of work to be done. So
right. See, here's the thing. I play a lot of practical jokes on most sets that I'm on. But this set is so goofy, there's no need. It's like, we're laughing. They'll say action, and we're crying laughing. We gotta go, just wait, guys, wait. So it's kind of like this set doesn't actually need a practical joke because it's just so fun. It's really a lot of laughter.
It's a good group of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of laughter.
Really good group of people.
Like, I don't even know how we get serious scenes done sometimes. Like, we're crying laughing half the time.
Now we know a whole lot of people in here are waiting to get autographs, so we've got to get both of these men a break.
Wait, I want to tell can I tell one more story?
I'm still going to take a couple
This is
more
a good
questions.
story.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to ask myself a question. Have you ever been to Metropolis, Illinois? Yes, I have. I've been to Metropolis before. 14 years ago, I did a road trip from New York to LA. And I had an RV, I was with my ex-wife and my little 5-year-old daughter. And I saw a sign that said Metropolis, Illinois, hometown of Superman. And I said, we have to stop there. And so I pull up with my RV, I don't even think it fit in town, but because it was a really big one. And we went to the museum, and I'm super excited, and I'm really giddy, and I walk in with my little girl, and I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, hey, got a super bathroom for my super little girl? And he looks up, he goes, try the Super 76 across the street. And I was like, that's the best line ever. And that's when I fell in love with Metropolis, Illinois. So I'm glad I'm back.
All right, we're going to take maybe 2 more questions so that these gentlemen can relax a little bit before they start
signing their lives away again.
My question is for Mehcad.
I was like, wait, hey, what? It's a ghost.
I love you in True Blood, by the way. And I'm going to tell you, I have a question for you. You say you grew up with comics and Superman and all that.
Right.
Your stature, obviously you've shocked everybody with being able to play an amazing Jimmy Olsen and doing it your way. Have you ever been approached, because now all these superhero movies and TV shows, have you been approached to be a superhero?
No comment.
And one more. If you could be, who would you want to portray?
Elongated lad.
If I had my choice,
Absolutely, your choice.
Green Lantern.
Yes! Excellent. Thank you so much.
Breaking news, baby.
We'll still take one more, but I have a question. Mehcad came from modeling. Now, did you always have the desire to act, or did modeling lead to the career?
It was kind of like same time. Modeling actually took off while I was an actor. So I just kind of wanted to. You know what? I never wanted to be a model. I just wanted to hang out with girls. Actually, that's
why we learned to play guitar.
I'd like to see your model walk. You could just do the. Cue some music.
Blue Steel.
The weirdest part is people go to school for that. I'm not kidding. And they make you have a book on your head. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, and people take it so seriously. But it just kind of, it was fun. I was in college, and it helped me pay for college, and Calvin Klein was really good to me. And
that's how models read. They put the book on their head.
Yeah. Like if some of these kids are like, "What's the book?" iPad? What do you mean?
What are you talking about, Grandpa? Yeah. All right. We have one more question, so please don't stink.
Gotta make it real good.
And then all the hands go down. Okay, mine.
Is it a good one?
What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Pressure's on. That'd be good.
It has to be a good question.
We all have, our favorite lines or our favorite scenes that you guys have done on the show, but what are your favorite lines or scenes that you have on the show?
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
So like I said, I was a Superman comic. I'm a Superman and a Batman fanatic as a kid, right? And so when I read the pilot, before I even got the role, I was reading the last scene of the pilot, and there's a moment where Jimmy Olsen says, "Up, up, and away." I freaked out. I was like, ah! Mom, look! If I can just have it, pretty much what I did. And then, hold on. Like, when we were shooting the scene, like, it's my first day at work. First day, and I was like, I'm super tired, we're downtown, it was early, and we're on this rooftop. And the director's kind of just, go! I'm like, what? Nothing? And then we're doing this scene. And then I was geeking out so bad, I was nerding out so bad, I couldn't say up, up, and away. I was like, up, up, and away. Up, up, and away. No. Up, up, and away. Oh God, no. It's horrible.
That's funny.
I finally got it.
I like Maxwell Lord's quips. When he always has a funny quip, some of them, he'll be in the middle of a tense scene and say, and get me a Dr. Pepper. Or with the Netflix thing, he'll be in jail and say he wants a subscription to Netflix. But my favorite was, what was that tentacle thing?
It's called Black Mercy.
Black Mercy. Yeah. And so when it was shriveling up in the corner, and I had a line that was like, "That's one messed up daffodil." And I was like, I didn't think it was gonna work. I was like, I don't know if I should say this. Supergirl's just coming out of this coma, and there's some really dramatic stuff. And
I was like, say it, bro.
I was like, I don't know if this line's gonna, and it totally worked. I was like, because you have to have those lighter moments in the darker moments, and so I like that he brings that.
All right, let's thank these men for their time, their talent, their wit, and
are all ladies, I guess.